Hey, what's going on YouTube? Thank you for stopping by, checking out my YouTube page, checking out my YouTube video. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're not new to my channel, thank you for coming back for another video. We're doing a ton of laser videos lately. And the one thing I see constantly coming up is how do you achieve consistent results, right? Every time I make something, I have a notebook, you'll see that I have in my videos here, and I'll write them down. I got a journal, and then I transfer them from my chicken scratch or whatever. But what are the variables? What is the largest variable that's really going to affect your results and that makes it difficult to achieve the same results? And also, what is something that you should be doing that I'm seeing no one really talking about? Actually, I've seen no one talking about other than myself. Should be doing with any type of laser, whether it be a CO2 laser, whether it be a diode laser, whether it be a fiber laser, whether it be a $500 laser or a $15,000 laser. What's one thing you should have? Okay, so I'm a lineman. There's no secret. I say that all the time in my videos. Well, I don't care if your house is old. I don't care if your house is new. If you're in the United States or if you're in a country, I'll tell you this. The power that is brought to your house is dirty. What do I mean by dirty? So if you were to actually test it and see that power source, it doesn't look like this. It looks like this. So when you say, how come I can't consistently get the same results? If whatever fiber laser you're using, whatever diode laser you're using, whatever CO2 laser you're using is never consistently getting a consistent power source, then how can you say that it's supposed to have consistent results? So I don't mean to bore you, but I'm just going to give you a little snippet of this video from the manufacturer to kind of give you background information, what I'm talking about, the real importance, and hear from the horse's mouth, so to speak. And then I'll be back and we'll go further into this. But I think it's important to watch this. So don't just skip past this. Actually watch this, because this little, maybe boring portion of the video is really informational. It really will prove the fact of why I'm suggesting this so much. So pay attention. It's a lot of money you put in this. It's worth saving your investment.
Utility power provides energy to run electrical equipment of all kinds. One of the simplest electric devices is a light bulb, like this one. When utility power stops for any reason, the light goes on. Uninterruptible Power Supply, usually called a UPS, provides backup power when utility power fails or is switched on. Installation is simple. Plug the UPS into a regular outlet, then plug the electric equipment into the UPS. When utility power is on, it passes through the UPS and goes to the equipment. During normal operation, a UPS also protects equipment against sudden power surges or spikes. When utility power fails or is switched off, the UPS switches to battery power instantly. The equipment keeps working. A computer is much more complex than a light bulb. It needs clean and consistent power to run efficiently. Also, the voltage of utility power often fluctuates. It has overvoltages and sags, fractions of a second with too much or too little voltage. UPS systems with automatic voltage regulation, or EVR, detect and correct these voltage fluctuations immediately. The equipment receives clean, consistent power at all times. In severe weather or during peak demand, utility power can have serious fluctuations. At times like these, the UPS will switch automatically to battery backup power. A UPS system will replace utility power for a few minutes to several hours, depending on the capacity of the UPS and what equipment is connected to it. At minimum, this gives computer users enough time to save their work and shut their computers down safely. Active Power Factor Correction, or active PFC, improves the energy efficiency of power supply units in newer and higher-end computers and electronics. For example, any equipment with Energy Star certification has active PFC circuitry. This technology is becoming widely used, and it requires even more consistent power. When it receives direct utility power or pass-through power, equipment that uses an active PFC circuit will function as it should. When it receives power from a backup battery, however, it may not work correctly. Here's why. Utility power arrives as a sine wave, a smooth, continuous movement between positive and negative polarity. Devices with active PFC circuits are designed to work best with sine wave input. Many UPS batteries produce a simulated sine wave output, which approximates the shape of a true sine wave, but with moments of zero voltage as the polarity changes. These power gaps may create stress on the equipment, reducing its useful life. An active PFC circuit may detect the gaps as a loss of power and shut down the equipment without warning. This can result in equipment damage, data loss, or both. A UPS system with true sine wave output meets the demanding requirements of equipment with active PFC circuits. It ensures reliable operation and peak performance. CyberPower is the first and only manufacturer to offer sine wave output in a desktop UPS for home and office use. The PFC sine wave UPS series from CyberPower will ensure the best results from your valuable computers and electronics and protect against the potential equipment damage or data loss when power fluctuates or fails.
There you go. This is something that you should have. This is a CyberPower battery backup with sine wave output. It's important to say that sine wave output because it's going to make a big difference on the power. So why should you have this? You should have this for the first reason is because I don't know if you do, but I don't know very many people that do. At the end of the day, you unplug your piece of equipment. You just leave it plugged in all the time, right? You saved your pennies, you saved your hard-earned dollars to purchase that piece of equipment. A lightning strike comes through, a brownout comes through, something comes through and damages your equipment. I know that's what insurance for, but why do you want to go down that road? You spend thousands and thousands of dollars for something, along with accessories and what have you. You can purchase something extremely cheap like this to protect it. So what is this going to do? This is obviously going to protect you from surges, right? Which is very important to protect your investment. But beyond that, and the most important thing about this is it's going to condition your power. So I'm telling you, the power looks like this. It's got to look like this. So I'm telling you, I'm guarantee you, if you buy one of these, this is a minimal investment. This isn't a sales pitch. I could just keep this to myself. I'm willing to share this with everyone to tell you, buy this. Like, of all the thousands of dollars you've invested, this is the least expensive thing you're going to purchase. And this is probably the most prominent result you're going to see with this. And what I mean by that is you're going to be able to achieve consistent results because you're going to have consistent power. You know, in the summertime, when everyone cranking their AC, it's going to be different. When wintertime, when it gets really cold, it's going to be different. You know, so the more you can control the environment, the better consistent results you're going to have. So purchase this. I'll put a link in the description below. I purchased this off Amazon. It has some crazy extended warranty you can buy with it. I mean, so let's just get this open. So there are rated by different power sources how much you're going to use. This is a little bit of a beefier one. And the reason I did that is because I'm actually going to run two 5-way off this, a 30 watt and a 60 watt. So I want to run two. Everything in any one of my videos, every single piece of equipment that I own is on one of these, whether it be a DTG printer, a DTF printer, sublimation printer, any of my commercial equipment, they all have these because they're a small investment for, to protect you from my large investments. Now, does it have a backup battery source? Yes. I'm really worried about running something in the power. If I lived in an area where I had that, temporary loss of power, that battery would come in handy. But to be honest with you, in my area, my power is pretty consistent as far as not having outages. So I don't think I would necessarily, so to speak, if the power goes out. But I will be using the battery to just give that, pull this off, to just give that consistent power source to condition it. And like I said, the biggest thing you're going to see is it's going to say sine wave output because it's really conditioning that power out. It's going to make a huge difference having that. And when you're pricing these, when it says that, it doesn't say that, you kind of notice big difference in price. Comes with a USB cable with full of dust that you can plug this in and then plug it into your computer and basically monitor it and tell you, and you can you can monitor the power and all that jazz to make sure it's really working, make sure there's not any power issues, things like that. To be honest with you, I've never done that. This thing works so well. I don't monitor the monitor. I just let it do its thing. So it does have in the backside here, USB, like essentially if you want to monitor, serial the same way, and it has half of it is for is shock only, and half of it is for the battery. So if it's on a battery backup, so when you have a piece of equipment that has a large amp draw, like when it first turns on, right, and then once it's actually running, which that's how most equipment is. When you first turn it on, it kind of like draws a lot of power, pulls hard amperage, and once it's running, it's really not pulling anything. So because of that, I always just plug it in the battery side. So if for some reason it pulls a lot, and we'll never trip a breaker, so to speak. Just pull from the battery temporarily, and then once it's up running, it's fine. That's another question I've been getting a lot is, when you're setting up your shop, how many amps do you think you're going to need for your shop? Is 40 amps enough? And when you start running big pieces of equipment like chop saws, table saws, and sometimes you'll start flipping your breaker all the time. But if you have some of these, and some equipment has a big amp draw, that'll help on it besides protecting it. So might be something you want to be interested in if you don't have a lot of, space in your panel, or don't have a lot of dedicated power to your wood shop, and you're, flipping a lot of breakers. You may want to just get one of these. Real short video, not a whole lot to say. I can plug it in just so you can kind of see how it looks. It's pretty fancy here. Let's get it plugged in. But like I said, I really could have just kept this information to myself and not shared it with the group, but I just can't believe, to be honest with you, how many people are not doing this. This is really something that you should have. So let's turn this on. It says do not lift it by hair because the screen can tilt so that you can see it. It looks like it comes 3/4 of the way charged in the battery. Yeah, but the screen actually tilts, so if it's at a weird angle and you can't see it good, well, that you can kind of turn that up. But let's go through the setup here. Yeah, it has a power saving mode, looks like. So it'll tell you if there are any events. So that's one thing too. So if all of a sudden you go to here and you see 13 different events, then you know that you did have that temporary loss of power, or that little blip in your power. You're going to see a ton of those. Or, a lot of events would mean that there's some issues. Maybe there's wiring in your house, or maybe issues with the power coming to your house. But at any rate, it's kind of helping you in those situations. It's going to tell you what is the percentage that the battery has left. So right now, 78%, hasn't been charged or plugged in. That's how it came. And it's going to tell you what is your output power versus your input power. So are you overdrawing on this, or does it have to constantly, compensate to help you, and if you're constantly overdrawing, then, maybe you got to get two of these and separate them, or keep thinking, or that's why you're constantly breaking flipping your breaker, because you're just drawing way too much on that outlet. So yeah, it says your output, 122 volts, says your input, events, estimated time run. So that means that if you were to lose power based on the battery itself, how long would it be able to continue to run? Like I said, I wouldn't not necessarily run a piece of equipment without power. I guess I could. The computers that run these pieces of equipment are laptops. So power did go out, it would technically run off the battery, and then this could run it for like an hour and a half, a laser. So, if I really needed to. So yeah, that's about it. It's kind of a short video. Not much to say. Honestly though, like this isn't there you go. That's what the sound will sound like when you lose power. Let me just turn this off. On the front, it does have USB and USB-C, so if you wanted to plug some LED lights or something like that you're running, near your laser to add extra power, that is a power source or charging phone as well. But like I said, this shouldn't be a hard sale. I could have kind of kept the secret to myself, but I just, I see people on Facebook groups and YouTube all the time and say like, hey, I've had great results. I've just been struggling getting consistent results. And everyone keeps saying, it's the temperature, because if a piece of metal is a different temperature, it's not going to have the exact results. And I agree to a certain extent. If it was, -8 degrees and you were doing it, and then it was, 70 degrees, but like 5 to 10 difference. If you're in a heated environment, whether it be in your garage, whether it be in, in a shed or in your basement like myself, maybe you'll have 5 degree different temperature fluctuation. 5. And I don't think you should really seek inconsistencies in your test results based on a 5 degree difference in temperature. Anything beyond that extreme, I could 100% see. But like I said, if you're in a controlled environment with heating and air conditioning, I don't see that being your problem. What I see being a problem is the power, because our power is so dirty. I can't speak on other countries, and I'm not tooting our own, America. But we got a damn good power grid. So, if you live in another country, it may be even worse conditions. So it'd be even more reason to get one of these. So if you have an older home, my house was built in 1865. Obviously, I've upgraded the electricals inside, but you have an older home, that could be something that you'd want to get as well. But even if you have a new home or a freshly rewired house, so there's not a damn thing wrong with the wiring in your house. You're wired good. You're good to go. You're wired to code. You got more than enough that you need. This is still a wise investment. Protect your equipment and condition the power that you are supplying to your piece of equipment, and have consistent power so that when you'll have consistent results. Your number one source that's going to make or break a situation or fluctuate the results of your laser is the power. That's it. Power. And probably air. But power. If your power is all over the place, you're not getting consistent power, you're never going to get consistent results. So do yourself a favor, buy one of these. I'll drop a link in the description below. Pick one up. They're fairly cheap. They're inexpensive. Like I said, of everything you're going to buy in your shop, this is probably the cheapest investment you'll make, but the wisest one. Thanks for watching. God bless. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And, just so you know, every Friday at 6:30 p.m. Central Time, we'll be doing a live channel, questions and answers, shot talk. Join us on that live. There's going to be me and a couple other influencers, really well-known influencers. I'll put their links in the description below as well. But, please do join us every Friday, 6:30 Central Time for that live questions and answers. So I always respond to all my comments, but it's kind of cool to interact, to be live as well. God bless. Thanks for watching.